Hey everyone, this is Lightstar and it is Lionsgate portal time. Yes indeed, the portal is open right here and right now at this time. So this is the time to be watching this video. I've got insights for you on this time period. Even if it's after and you're watching this video, you can still gain some insights on this time period. It happens every year. But for right now, this is going to be giving you some awesome insights and some intuitions into what is coming up and what is right now happening in this Lionsgate time frame. So I've also got a really powerful and insightful layout that I'm going to do using my Magical Dimensions deck that is going to help you to see what sort of themes that we have coming up for this time frame and for all of us, how best to walk through that gateway and that portal with all sorts of positive energies, okay? So let's get started and see what's coming up in the portal. Hello everyone, this is Lightstar, and I want to welcome all of you back to my channel for those of you who have been joining me for a while, and welcome to the new people that are joining for the first time. If you're here for the first time and you would like to join this tribe here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, although I like to call it just joining the tribe or the community. And also to make sure to hit the notifications bell so that you get notified of new content that's coming forth. And like always, share, like, and promote this video for those that you think would appreciate the content. So what we're going to talk about today is Lionsgate. And I meant to do this video a while ago. I know we're actually in it right now, like as the time frame. We're in the time of the Lionsgate. It started about in July of 26th, and it runs all the way through August of 12th, but the height of it is on August 8th. So I'm getting this video out at least before August 8th in this time frame. So Lionsgate happens every single year around this time, and I wanted to jump on here so I can share a little bit more about what I feel is coming up for this particular Lionsgate, because I feel each year has a different flavor to it, and yet there are some constants that happen throughout every Lionsgate and the time of year. So we'll kind of go through what it's all about a little bit, but then kind of what more is in particular for this one, okay? So it's a time of year that a lot of people, we tend to describe it as a portal opening, and it is like that. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the ins and outs of the astrology part of it, but this is a time where it goes into Leo, so that's why it's called Lionsgate, and it's always attributed with the lion energy. And so what I'm going to do, though, what I really wanted to do with this is to go through the insights that I want to provide for you guys in this time frame, which does kind of propel us into a new period. Now, I look at Lionsgate every year. It always seems like it's almost like the beginning of a new year. So even though it happens in August, or July, August, it actually feels like the energy is all of like a new year. And in some ways and in some cases, it feels like it gives us that second wind, right? The time that allows us to what we haven't done, or maybe has been stuck for a bit, and then now we get a chance to, boom, jump out of the gate and let's get some stuff going. And I also feel like the number of 8/8, which happens on that date, the height of it, when I guess you could say the portal is the widest of its opening, and the aperture maybe of a camera is widest at that point, and that day adds up to a number 1, which is in numerology. So if you add up like 8/8 and then 2019 boils all down to a 1, and that is all about what? That has to do with new, going forward, getting it going. It's like new beginnings. And that's what I feel is really provides us with this energy renewal of the Lionsgate, where we get to really kind of have that second wind. So that's kind of the general of Lionsgate and the energy of it, and what we're working with. Now, I also want to say that I've been noticing some things. I just want to mention this about the Schumann Resonance. For those of you that follow this, probably already know, but the Schumann Resonance, I look at it as though like it's the pulse of Mother Earth. You know, it's like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And the energies of the Schumann Resonance tend to spike at certain times, and they've been really going spiking a lot more different than they had been even the last few years. But I started to do something where I was tracking this with my own energy levels and just seeing what I noticed. And what I noticed, this might be off the topic of Lionsgate, but I just happened to be doing it at this time frame, or before then. I was doing it kind of the month of July, beginning of July. And I started to notice a trend for myself. So I'm wondering if you guys did too, or maybe it's different for you. But what I've been noticing is that, like, for instance, the Schumann Resonance hangs at about 7 point, I don't know if it's 8.2 or 8.3, something around there. That's the norm, okay, of the energies. Now, when we've been noticing some days where it just goes off the charts, like, you know, goes 20, 50, 70, over 100, and I started to notice something. Then on the days where it was about 7, 11, you know, just kind of normal, like little normal range, you know, I was just kind of feeling sort of, how I say, just kind of okay. I mean, not good, not bad, just kind of, you know, even keel, just sort of like ho-de-do, like here we go, another day. Well, when I noticed and I looked back at times and days when the energy spiked up, like it went up to like, you know, 50, I think it was 55 on one day, and I had noticed in particular that day I was so energetic. I had so much energy. I was running around doing so many different things. I couldn't believe my energy was that high, because it was really a day of like doing a lot too in that day. So I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. So I look back and I'm like, that was about 55, the time that it had spiked. Then there was a day where it had spiked over 100. And I remember on that day, I was so tired. I was like, no matter what I could do, I was just like so exhausted. I couldn't think straight. I was having tired just during the day. It was just crazy. So what I have noticed with this, okay, is that because that we're all of us are getting this kind of upgrade, you know, the energies and everything. And I feel like this upgrade is happening slowly to where now we're starting to, I don't know, kind of assimilate or integrate. Where the Schumann Resonance gets higher, I'm starting to acclimate much better than I used to. So probably when it, you know, before, around the time of like when it was at 55 or something like that, I would have been probably really tired on those days. Now I'm starting to adjust and adapt where I feel really good at that time, you know, when it goes up to about that range. But anything that goes over 100, it might be 75 over 100. I haven't checked it that closely. But when it goes over 100, I'm definitely wiped out and tired. So that is like, I just wanted to mention that because I feel like these spikes and these changes in the Schumann Resonance, we have to pay attention to our bodies uniquely to see how we are responding and reacting to it. And I think that gives us a little indication of what we're integrating. So I wanted to share that as well in this time frame for any of you guys who want to do the same thing. So, but what I'm going to do with this, and I also want to mention too, we're at the tail end of Mercury retrograde just ended, and thank God that's over, right? Actually, I wasn't too affected by it this time, but I will say the very end, that post-shadow period, I really had a lot of electronic stuff happen. My phone completely died and went blank for like 2 days, and I was almost going to have to get another phone, and then miraculously, you know, it goes back on again. So it was weird, but weird things were happening with email stuff and all sorts of weird things. But that is kind of past. So those of you who are experiencing some disruption in that, we're kind of now moving out of that. Thank goodness, right? So, although we do love Mercury retrograde for us, allowing us to review, okay? So, because what I want to talk about is there's a few things that are happening in this time frame of the Lionsgate, which did cross over to the Mercury retrograde, even though it's past the time right now. But I do want to say that there was some relevance there because there's three things I feel are happening in this particular Lionsgate, okay? This time frame. One of them is, I'd say, reviewing reviewing the past, and also reviewing your passions. So this has been up, and very much at the time, Mercury retrograde is always about reviewing and things from the past, things coming up. I know I was having a lot of dreams in that time frame of people in my past, okay, that I hadn't even had thought about in so long. So this is like stuff from the past, reviewing, but it's also was about reviewing our passions. Like, what are we passionate about? What were we passionate about before? And maybe, just maybe, needs to shift and change this time around, okay? Maybe needs to be some shifting. So we're gonna look at that. That is like the number one thing. So it's releasing, reviewing your past, going through your passions and looking to see what might be new, what might be coming forth. The second thing I feel is coming with this is that we're being asked to be authentic, even more so, okay? Authenticity, being genuine, and coming from a genuine place, okay? Of vulnerability, it might be, okay? Being vulnerable, being genuine. That kind of thing, I feel the doors are opening for our heart expression, and I feel for also for us renewing love within ourselves, the self-love that we have, and renewing a relationship between us and our love and our own self-love. So I feel like there's a relationship shift, or we're looking at that, or getting activated in more ways in that way. And then the third area I want to say is that this is the unleashing full throttle, okay? This is like going into gear. We're shifting it into gear, and there's a big momentum forward where we're getting us to look at things as we don't have limitations, okay? So it's full throttle, full steam ahead, no limitations, go, go, and more go, and being propelled into your creativity, okay? So that's like the third thing. So these are three of the main themes I feel that we're getting in this particular Lionsgate download, if you will. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. But I'm also going to go into, this is going to be super fun, okay? Because I've never done this layout on my videos yet. So very excited. For those of you that use and know and are familiar with my Magical Dimensions Oracle cards, you will know that there is in the booklet, okay, I have a full guidebook that comes with these. This is my own creation. I should say it's our creation, right? God's creation. And then I'm just the tool here being used to bring these cards to the market in your hands. So, but in the booklet, I come out with a couple different layouts that are what I feel are unique layouts. They're not like your Celtic crosses and all that stuff that's already out there. It's just like a unique layout that I created myself. And I wanted to do this one in particular. So for those of you that have the booklet, that's a new one. Those of you that have the book, it looks like this, the guidebook, and it is on page 19 that we're going to be doing today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this formation up on screen so you can just at least see what the layout is like. Okay, and then I'm going to read through this as well. This particular layout is called the Star Key Formation. Okay, and I'm just reading this just so you have an idea of what this formation is about. Okay, the unique layout called the Star Key Formation is like going on a scavenger hunt for insights. The cards will create building blocks of spiritual attainment. Your quest begins with a question such as, what are the key insights I need in order to move forward? That formation begins with a flicker, but with each radiating arm builds into a brilliant shining star. Once you attain the first key insight, move to the next key, integrate, and keep progressing forward. As you integrate each insight, your situation becomes clearer and you become brighter until you emulate that bright and brilliant shining star. So this is the star key formation, and what I decided to do with this Lionsgate, I wanted to give you guys some insights. So I asked that kind of same question with what are the key insights that we all need to move forward in this Lionsgate time frame, okay? So it was a perfect time to display how this radiating star key works. So that's the main question, the thrust of it, okay? So if we look at the very center of the layout, it's gonna have key 1, and this is called flicker, okay? And this is your first key insight of the pulse and energy surrounding the entire issue. Now, I already did a layout here, so I'm gonna actually just show you how this works. The first for the Lionsgate here. So what I first came and chose here is the card of emergence. And the card of emergence is creation, resurrection, and the magician. So this is the perfect thing. This is the starting point. This is the flicker, that beginning flicker of the Lionsgate. And I want you to think of it as the whole period of time. Okay, so it could be like before we kind of hit Lionsgate, even though it is maybe past the point when you're watching this video, that's okay. But we're also just seeing the whole energy thrust of it. So we're looking at the emergence. So we're looking at, wow, okay, so we are emerging. We're creating anew. We're creating ourselves. We're reinventing ourselves. And we're getting that push for, as I said before, that very first key, not key, but the first theme or thing I feel that we're getting in this is to push forward as the new. It's almost like that new year that begins at this time frame in July and August. The new second wind, the time that we get to reinvent and recreate ourselves and be creative in that process. Okay, this is the process. Sometimes it's unknown, sometimes we don't know, but we're starting that process with this flicker, okay? The beginning energy surrounding all of this, okay? So then we move to key number 2, which is called spark. And spark, that's the name of my car. I actually named my awesome car Spark. So I love that. Okay, so spark is actually the second key insight needed to illuminate your situation. This is your starting point, okay? So when we look at this, what's the starting point that we come up with is the heart portal. And that could not have been more perfect placement here, because the heart portal is receptivity, generosity, and mistrusting when it's in the opposite altercation or undercation or whatever you want to call that, when it's not its exalted position. So when we look at the heart, that's all about Lionsgate, okay? The Lionsgate is the heart. Leo, that's all about the heart, okay? So it's coming forward with the level of the heart, okay? It's also emulating what I was saying earlier about how this is about you guys getting in touch with your heart, that self-love that you have for yourself, renewing that relationship, okay? The relationship you have with self, and really getting into loving yourself and loving yourself through the process of emerging, okay? See how that works? Like you come into this process of the new things you want to bring forth, and it can be scary and you don't trust yourself, and that's where the mistrusting can come in. So we want to make sure that we're in our heart space through this time period, that we get this second wind moving with a really good solid place from the heart, okay? So that's the second key, okay? Now we move on to the third key, which is ignite. Ignite is the third key insight, and this is your initiative fire, momentum, and motivational key. So this one we come up with illumination. The illumination is expression, positivity, and joy, and inspiration. So you actually have to look at this as your motivation, okay, for making changes in your life. Some of you guys are making big changes right now, and things are shifting, and we want to do that with a perspective of positivity and joy and excitement, and bringing that level of the heart, because this is also a very much connection, a heart connection. As you can see, it's like this emulation is coming from the heart, the joy, the passion, the love that you have for all the things that you want to do, and yet maybe before have not had a chance to make them come to fruition, or there's been delays, or there's been, things that maybe it's not the right timing, you don't know, but it's okay. But this is like giving that kind of positivity that to the projects, to our relationships, and all the things in our life that we feel maybe haven't come to fruition. Let's have kind of more of a positive attitude. Maybe there wasn't right. Maybe it wasn't the right timing, but it just might not have been the right thing for you. And we're trying to drive it forward, right? So we kind of have to just kind of take a little bit step back and say, you know what, it's okay, and I'm going to move forward, and whatever's next coming into my path, we have a whole new emergence coming forward in what we're going to do next. So allow yourself to have that time, allow yourself to express to, with joy and positivity, okay? So let's move to the fourth key, which is blaze. Blaze is the fourth key insight necessary for creating positive change on your quest. Now, this is the contemplation card. So this is silence, knowing, releasing control. Okay, this is really important because we need to release the control about how we think things are supposed to happen, how we think things are supposed to be running in our lives. That's that, okay, we have to do it this way. It has to look like that. It's got to come out like this. It has to those kinds of things where we put so much of our mental state into it. So what this is telling us is to create the positive change and be in the positive space that we had in the previous key, the ignite key. To be in that place, we need to get out of our heads. We need to get out of the analyzing, the need for controlling it to be this way or look that way or whatever. The relationship has to look like this. The job has to look like this. Or career, or your entrepreneurship, your project has to be going just like this. Okay, or new projects. Maybe no, they don't. Maybe they don't have to have a certain way that you had envisioned them. Not to say we don't want you to have, take away your visioning skills and putting it at templating, but I'm saying roll with the punches, okay? When things come, you have to roll and release the control of how the outcome is supposed to look, because we don't always know all the little background, back stuff that is important, okay? So releasing control, right? So let's move on to key 5, which is shine. Shine is the fifth key insight containing the inspiration needed for transformation. Okay, so the fifth key insight contains a lot of insights here about inspirations, okay? But this has to do with exiled, okay? So this is illusion of separation, disconnect, and isolation. Now this is the illusion of separation, right? So you're not really separate from your projects. You're not locked out. Like in this picture, you can see it looks like she's locked out, can't get in. That's an illusion that we are locked out of our lives. We are not able to move forward, and we can't move into what we want to do, or for our new career, our new life, our new love, our new location, whatever it is that you want, doesn't mean that you're locked out or separate from it, okay? You have the initiative to move forward in your life at any moment, at any time, and feel connected into life. So this is telling us to step forward into life. Don't be isolated or feel locked out or feel shut out of your life, okay? So that's key number 5, very important. Okay, so key number 5, we just got through the inspiration that's needed. So we need to kind of move into that inspiration of us not feeling isolated, not feeling separate, okay? We need to get engaged into life. So our inspiration is engagement and connection and moving into that field of connection, okay? So as we come forward, as we see we're creating this brilliant star that's formulating with all of our different insights that we need to get us through this time period. And now we reach, where are we? Number 6, key number 6, radiate, is the 6th key insight of integration. All previous insights are gathered, okay? This is a very important key. So we have inspirational creation, which is awesome to have in this placement. This is the alchemy, the elements, and innovation, Okay, this is giving us that creativity that we walk through this stargate with love, with a sense of renewal. We walk through with the heart, okay, the energy of the heart. We walk through with joy and passion and positivity. We walk through with releasing control, letting go of outcomes. We walk through with a sense of connection and a sense of connection to all that is and connection to life in general. And then we walk through with creativity, and we get a burst of creative, innovative insights and different projects. These are also different projects that you guys are all working on, creative music or art or solutions or environmental, different solutions for the environment, like all different kinds of areas of where you're being creative and asked to be creative is now going to come into integration and really get a push. I also feel you guys, all of us, are going to get a push forward in our projects, okay? Projects that have been sitting, and maybe this is a good time to say which projects you want to move forward with and which ones you don't, okay? But I feel we're going to get some headway with a lot of different projects that might have sat on the sideline, okay? And then, lastly, we have key number 7, which is brilliance. Brilliance is the 7th key insight, raising your situation to full brilliance and wisdom. Now, this one is awesome to have because this is summing up the whole thing too. And this is number 9, but it's the destiny, okay? Which is actually funny that I just happened to look at that and said 9 because 9 is completion, right? So this completes the radiating star. So destiny. And this is your divine purpose, passion, and service. So this is all the things that you want to do in this world that are of service to others. And this is bringing it all into, and this could also be, when we're talking about relationships, career, jobs, health, everything, this is all culminating into being of service in a higher way. And it may be also a new way of being in service to others. This may look different than how you've been in service to others before. It may look differently. You may get a shift there, which I feel this whole star gate here in Lionsgate is pushing us to look at our passions, like we said in the beginning. And maybe you get to the point here where you're at the end of the cycle, and then you're like, I wanted to do that and I was passionate about it, but I don't feel that anymore. Like something changed and now I want to be of service in a new way, okay? I was just talking to somebody, a client, about this where they were having this where, you know what, the things that I used to do gave me happiness and pleasure and it was great and it's passion, but I'm not feeling that anymore from them. So be open to releasing, okay? Releasing, when we had that releasing control card, the contemplation card, be open to maybe releasing some of the old stuff that you don't really need anymore, just doesn't really want to, it's not exciting for you anymore, you just don't want to do it. There's nothing wrong with that because we're being upgraded to new levels of energy, and that means we're also getting upgrades to new types of projects, new types of passions, and new things coming forth. But I do feel that all of this, with this whole star key formation, is telling us that we may need to look at change in our lives with what we've been doing or how we've been doing it. I've been getting this for quite some time anyway, but this is no surprise that these are the cards that showed up for this, because I've been feeling like a lot of us are getting new information coming forth and not really sure how to integrate it or initiate it into our purposes of what we're doing here for being of purpose. But I feel we will get clarity on this even much more by the end of this year for sure. But in this time period we get a really good confirmation, and I just got confirmation because we have a storm here and I just heard thunder right after I said that, so confirmation there. So this is the Lionsgate portal window here that I wanted to give some insights in using this. This is my, like I said, star key formation that's in my Magical Dimensions Oracle cards, which you can get on my website if you don't have them already, or for those of you that want to get 2 decks, great, because then you have one to do layouts and the activators, and then one you can actually use every day for oracle readings. So I have that myself. I have 2, so it's always a good thing if you can do it to get 2 decks, because they really come in handy for that purpose. But you can order those on my website. And I just want to give you guys a lot of kudos for all the work that you have been doing. I know this is a tough time with this year for some of you, and I want to give you lots of love and support for that. I'm going to be continuing on with my content here to help you guys in any way. And if you would like to work privately with me, I have lots of different choices for you that you can check out on my website, which is lightstarcreations.com. And I have lots of different things. People work with me in all different ways. I've got my starseed alignment sessions that go through each one of your, I go through your soul origins in the first one, and all the download about you and your past lives and what your purpose is and all that. Second phase is light language chakra clearing. I do full energetic clearing for you. And then the third one is an upgrade to your chakra systems as well. So those are the ways that I use light language in my session work. And I also have lots of ways that you can work with me for getting artwork and custom artwork that I can draw and create symbols and codes that are coming in around specifically for you, so that you can work with it that way. Light language audio activations, everything on there, all of my artwork that is for sale. For what you're seeing up here, a lot of people ask me about the blankets in the background. Yes, these are for sale on my website, and they're fleece blankets that I'm hanging up here, but you can also get all different kinds. You can get wall art, and you can go onto my website and check that out on my art gallery page. And so anything that I can do to assist in a further way, I would love to help you guys out. So go check all that stuff out. And I want to send off here with so much love and so much energy for you guys to keep going. This is an exciting time. Some of us have been halted a bit throughout this summer. And yes, we have retrogrades and all sorts of things that come up, but we keep going. Don't give up. Never surrender. Keep going. Don't give up. And yet also be aware of the times when you do need to release and surrender when things are ready to go, because there's some new things that are going to be better suited for you. Okay, so knowing the difference between when it's ready to let go and when you need to move on and maybe resurrect an old project as well. So being very conscious of that. So that's it for now. I want to send you guys off with so much love for this Lionsgate period. Be excited, get inspired. Start doing your processes to bring those old projects out. Get creative. Get in line with all the new energies that are moving up. For those of you who want to check this Schumann Resonance and do what I did, very fascinating, and be interesting to see what your experiences are. Because there was a time period where it was flat pretty much for like a week or so and nothing really happened. And again, I was just feeling like, yeah, but I noticed differences when it spiked. So that's awesome. And that's it for now. I send you guys all love, as always, from the fairies, the galactics, and the elementals, the angelics, and all the spiritual ascended masters that are working with you. And if you like this video, please feel free to share it, like it, whatever, to get the word out. And that's it for now. I'll be back with some new content. Lots of love to all of you. Bye now.